What's up, everyone? Renaissance Swagger here. Have you ever taken a chicken breast, thrown it in the blender with some milk, and chugged it? If you have, you're psycho, and I want to know about that. So please drop it in the comment section. But for most of us, I'm willing to bet no. If protein shakes are messing with your stomach, this video is for you. Because essentially, when you do that, that's exactly what you're doing when you're drinking a protein shake. You're downing 30 grams of protein, and your body is like freaking out, not knowing what to do about that. So let's talk about it. All right, guys. So obviously that wasn't protein in the shaker cup. That was a shaker cup full of water. But I want to get a point across. That didn't seem natural by any means, and that's because it's not. Your body is not meant to consume 25 to 30 grams of protein in a few gulps. But if you stop and think about it, how many times have we seen people walking around the gym just chugging protein like that? Your body was meant to process food more naturally. If you think about eating a chicken breast, you're going to eat that in bites over 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. You're not going to just chug it like that. Your body's freaking out. And so you want to think about that. If you are drinking your protein that way and you're noticing that you have a little bit of rumbly in the tumbly afterwards, it might not be the protein at all. It might just be how quickly you're consuming it. Now, there are a few strategies to help your digestion if you are consuming your protein shakes over obviously a shorter period of time. I mean, it's not a meal, you are drinking it after all. There are enzymes out there that you can take. I'm not going to get into any specific enzymes on this video, but there are enzymes that can help your body break that down and handle that surge of protein. So consider an enzyme. The other thing that you can do is add carbohydrates and things like that, fats, different nutrients to help slow down the absorption of the protein. Now, you have to think about that in terms of when you're taking the protein. That might inform, if you're doing this before a workout, you might not want to be doing a lot of that, but that's something to consider, is other nutrients that will help make that more natural to your body. And so your body is processing it more like a regular food, and it's not just getting hit with 30 grams of just straight protein. So those are things to think about as well. Whether or not you've been taking protein as long as you can remember, you've taken a 5 or 10 year hiatus, or you're trying it for the first time, I think folks are drinking it, and if they notice a stomach ache consistently after consuming it, I don't think the natural go-to is maybe I'm drinking it too fast, or I'm not consuming it with other foods that makes it emulate more like a whole food. They're just thinking, oh man, I can't do this whole protein thing. No more protein for me, it hurts my stomach. And that's really unfortunate because it may not be the protein at all. It might just be how you're consuming it. After all, there's about 1 gram of protein per 1 ounce of milk. Most protein supplements out there are whey protein supplements with 30 grams of protein. So if you imagine taking 30 ounces of milk and chugging it like that, it's not going to lead to good results. My observation is that there is some amount of pressure or encouragement from the nutritional health experts out there and the companies that manufacture the protein, or produce it rather, to consume the protein in batches of 25 to 30 grams. Now, there is some science that has been put forth that your body synthesizes or breaks the protein down better if you do at least 28 grams of protein at once. And that may be true, but the question I would have for you is, although that may be true, is it doing you any good if you can't tolerate it in the first place because it hurts your stomach? So you might want to consider chunking up your protein supplements. For example, you have a bowl of yogurt in the morning for breakfast, throw a little bit of protein in there, maybe a third of a scoop or so. Have a cereal snack in the afternoon, put a third of a scoop in there. Try it out. If it's been bothering you, that might be a great place to look. It's just change the serving size. Now, there are some other places to look if you don't think it's a serving size issue. For the purposes of this video, I am going to presume that you're taking a whey protein supplement. And whey, of course, comes from milk. So let's do a Reader's Digest on milk. Milk is predominantly made up of 3 major nutrients: lactose, which is sugar, casein, which is a slow digesting protein, and whey, which is a fast digesting protein. Whey will be in 2 forms. In your local nutrition store, you will see tubs of it that say either whey protein isolate, or you'll see a tub that says whey protein. It won't say whey protein concentrate, most likely. What's the difference between these two? Both fast digesting. The difference is filtration. So whey isolate filters out pretty much everything but the whey, 90% or higher of just whey, whereas concentrate 80% or higher of just whey. So the things that it's removing would be your lactose, the sugars, fats that are in milk, things like that. So I will make a special note here because I don't think people realize on paper, these two are very similar, the concentrate and the isolate. But what I will tell you is paper doesn't always translate to actual practice. And I have noticed that whey isolate is easier on my stomach than whey concentrate time and time again. So even though they're very similar on paper, if you find that your protein supplement has whey concentrate in it, consider going strictly to a whey isolate. The main thing is you want to think fast digesting protein equals higher probability that it's going to be good for your tummy. Slower digesting protein is a higher probability that it won't. Everyone is wired differently, and you will see heated debates. It really gets a little bit ridiculous on what's better, casein, isolate, concentrate, and people will feel very strongly about this. But it's important to note that everyone's wired differently. And so it's just about probability and your digestion. But in general, I would say if it's faster absorbing by your body, faster digesting, that is probably going to more likely set you up for success. Now, the other thing that we want to be thinking about is the quality of the protein itself. So the protein that I use right now, and I've had to change over the years, there's something very interesting in the protein trend industry as a trend, and actually put in the comments if you agree with me on this point. I'm going to go on a side tangent here for just a moment. I've noticed with proteins, you will find a new brand and it will be good and you will love it. It tastes great. You feel great. You seem to repair better. And then willy-nilly out of nowhere, a couple years down the road, the quality seems to go downhill. It doesn't taste as good, it tastes more like chemicals. And, maybe you don't feel as good afterwards. And I keep seeing this happen over and over again. And I'm not the only one. I've gone online and I've read many, many message boards where there's a particular favorite, poster child protein everyone loved. And then everyone's like, what's up? What happened with the quality? It just went downhill. And so I don't know what's going on there, but it is an observation of mine. Not overly scientific, but it is an observation. So just food for thought there. Anyways, back onto quality of protein. So a couple things to think about. This is the one that I use right now. There's no specific loyalty to this brand. It's called Transparent Labs. I know when I first saw this tub, I thought it came from a run amok a network marketing company out of Salt Lake City, Utah, where they were going to try to sign me up in a pyramid scheme because of the white tub. It just kind of had those sort of vibes. But it turns out this one seems to be pretty good. It is grass-fed. For me personally, grass-fed, not a bad thing, as opposed to, say, corn. I suppose cows, what they're eating, I don't know. If they're eating something that's loaded with pesticides, that's probably a bad guy, right? But without going down that rabbit hole, it's grass-fed. It is heavily tested. So what I did like about this, and I challenged it, I actually went to the third-party testing lab. They promote very heavily that they third-party test for heavy metals. Protein, if you didn't know, is a poster child for heavy metal toxicity and things like that. Although those things are found in produce, by the way. If you don't believe me, check it out. Ask your favorite AI search engine. But they print a report out regularly where they test for contaminants such as mercury and arsenic and things like that you don't want in your body. And they score consistently higher. So that was good. And they sweeten the protein with stevia, which brings me to my next point. What is your protein sweetened with? So the major things that you'll see out there is stevia, which comes from a plant. It's natural. Doesn't necessarily mean that your body's going to like it, but it is natural. Sucralose, which is genetically modified sugar designed to be non-nutrient, meaning your body doesn't absorb the sugar. It just is a pass-through. So sucralose, you will see aspartame potassium, which is also a sweetener and is generally less preferred by folks that know a lot about how healthy something is for your body, generally less preferred than the sucralose. And you will also see sugar alcohols. Those are going to be things that sound like tall at the end. So sorbitol, maltitol, xylitol, things like that. Those can be pretty rough on you, especially if you have specific types of digestive issues like IBS, things like that. What I have found personally for me is sucralose without the aspartame potassium or stevia work best, noting that stevia, of course, is a natural alternative. This one has stevia in it, and it has no artificial flavorings or things like that. Again, an area where we could potentially run into problems. As a side note, I'll be doing a video later on GMOs and artificially added ingredients, but for now, suffice to say, the current protein I'm taking is free of those things. So I really like that one. But you'll have to experiment, because I have taken protein on paper, again, that is just like this. It's all natural, non-GMO, it's been tested, yada, yada, yada. And I found that on paper it's identical, yet it completely just doesn't agree with my system. And you'll notice if you do this enough and you end up going back to your local nutrition store, and I'm not saying to challenge you on this, but just take note, and you return something, they've seen that before. Meaning they're used to people coming in and saying, you know, this protein shake didn't agree with me. You know, it hurt my stomach. It's a story that you can tell that they've heard over and over again. And typically they will just, you know, no problem, switch it out for another protein. And so that tells you something. That tells you that you're probably not the only one. If you're having issues with this, just don't give up. Keep trying, because I can tell you that I've tried a number of proteins and my body didn't like them. And some of them, my body does. I suspect that might be because we don't know everything that's actually in the thing, but I don't know that for sure. And this video is not about making wild accusations. It's about just talking facts. So that would be the other thing to consider, is the quality of your protein. Is it a good quality, or does it have a lot of junk in there that your body doesn't like, doesn't recognize as food? All right, well, that's going to conclude my thoughts on protein. And if you have issues taking protein, causes you stomach issues, this is going to conclude for this video. Guys, I really would love to know your thoughts on this one. Please leave a comment on this. I will respond to your comment, by the way. I'm not just asking for the search engine algorithm. I will talk to you. So I'd like to talk to you. And let me know if you agree. I have found this topic to be pretty heated, pretty highly debated. People have strong feelings on this stuff. If you like this and you want to see more of this, or you'd like me to go into more detail about any specific thing that I covered, let me know and I will do that. And please subscribe if you find any value in this. That really helps me out a lot. Or give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. As always, take care and thanks for listening.